The concrete steps up to the front door seemed impossible to climb. They were so high and I was so small. I took them one by one. 7 or 8 steps put me at a landing and the steps turned and I realized I was only halfway up. I took a breath and released a deep sigh. I kept climbing, taking the steps one by one. I arrived at the metal screen door and pushed the doorbell. A tall man opened the door with the light and said, "Hello, Mark," making special attention at hitting the R in my name. He said, "You can come in, but you have to pronounce your name correctly." I tried over and over, and I could only offer, "Mark, Mark, Mark." My joy and excitement of seeing my friend was deflated. Eventually, I was allowed inside, and we played with his full set of Silverhawk action figures. This was 1988, and I was offered a birch beer, which is a soda that's similar to root beer, but lighter and sharper and not as sweet. And while the carbonated sweet treat felt like a reward for climbing the stairs, my difficulty pronouncing R's made me feel less than and not welcome. And since I was greeted with a test of admission, I didn't feel welcome, and even though I was allowed to visit, it didn't give me that sense of belonging. And these days, sometimes I stutter when I'm tired or nervous, and the language can get stuck in my mouth. Sometimes I over-articulate or enunciate, hitting hard T's and D's, or say things theatrically, like turning S's into Z's, like business or grandmothers, and I sound a little silly. But looking back, I found some belonging in the world with some theater kids, in part because I was allowed to practice and that we were a little bit different. We had bigger voices and bigger personalities and a lot of energy. But most of the time we spent together was practicing words, practicing actions, knowing that failure could produce laughter and connection. We created a safe space where curiosity and community were more important than protection and power. So when I had difficulty with words, I was allowed the space to pause, take a breath, and play with the word, and I learned to welcome people the same way that I was welcomed. I took time to listen, to build trust, and let them know that ability was not a barrier to entry, and mistakes, missteps, and forgotten lines were expected.